The University of Virginia is a very special place, not just to those of us who live here, but to this nation. As one of the country's bicentennial activities, the American Institute of Architects conducted a poll of its members to name the crowning achievement in American architecture. That designation was given to Thomas Jefferson's design for the University of Virginia. Today, Mr. Jefferson's academical village extends to over 1,000 acres and 200 buildings. We're a community of approximately 28,000 people, over 16,000 students, and almost 12,000 faculty and staff. And each one of them, I've found, has his own idea of what constitutes good telephone service. Installing telephone plant in this environment, particularly considering cabling to buildings that are registered national landmarks, has presented quite a challenge. But we did it, and as Mr. Jefferson was quite an innovator, I think he'd like the idea that we've complemented his design with a state-of-the-art communication system. The considerations that led us to the decision to install our own purchase system involve three primary points: capacity, cost, and control. While the university plans no increase in student enrollment, there's to be a continuing enhancement of technological support for academic programs. The ROLM telephone system provides superb support for voice communications, and it has the capacity for data switching that is contemplated by our plans for data communications. Cost is always an important consideration, particularly in view of expanding communications usage and the impact of deregulation on local telephone company charges. Purchasing our own system permits us to cap the major cost component of telephone service. And lastly, controlling a network of the size that we require is essential. And the ROLM system provides the kind of data traffic and other information that we need to tune the system to our requirements.
The challenge to ROLM was to place into service a telephone system for the University of Virginia that not only met their needs, but was installed in such a manner so as to preserve the integrity of these historic buildings and grounds. In order to accomplish this task, we divided the project into three categories: engineering, implementation, and ongoing service. With the university being a large and dispersed institution, our first problem was to design a network that allowed coverage of phones at remote locations from the central grounds. By utilizing the flexibility of the VLCBX distributed nodes, we were able to divide the entire university into 7 areas and locate a single node in 3 of these areas. This affords the university the ability for future growth at these locations without the need to install large amounts of new outside cable. For 2 of these locations, we utilized T-carrier as the transmission medium. For the 3rd, we used a microwave link to avoid a difficult and costly pole route. Because the nodes, T-carrier, and microwave all use the T1 data format, the VLCBX stands ready to provide solutions to the university for future data requirements. Schematic drawings were made for installation of 21 miles of outside cable to serve the 157 buildings needing phones. To intersect the existing university conduit system, 500 feet of a new 12-way duct system, including 3 new manholes, was installed. Within the buildings, we installed 230 miles of inside cable and built 430 intermediate distribution frames. All of these items together culminate in the operation of 7,600 installed telephones. The VL Center, having 12 of the 15 nodes and 1 MCBX, is the focal point for all configuration and maintenance work of the entire system. Distributed locations can be serviced from the VL Center, with the exception of physically replacing a printed circuit board. This building also houses the main distribution frame that provides the cross-connect point between switch and outside cable serving the main university complex. Ongoing service for UVA is being handled through the ROLM Service Center, utilizing our computer service reporting system that provides not only ROLM, but the customer with statistics on maintenance problems and instant status of any trouble report. The reliability factor of the ROLM VLCBX with its distributed architecture means low probability of major system failure. Also, the diagnostic capability of the VL enables the technician to continually assess system integrity and quickly replace any defective equipment. In many cases, corrective action is taken before the end user realizes there is a problem. The cutover was achieved with a high level of support from the engineering department of ROLM Santa Clara, and also close coordination between ROLM Mid-Atlantic and the University Communications Department.
The university began actively pursuing procurement of a new telephone system just over 5 years ago. After carefully reviewing the product offerings in the marketplace, we elected to install the ROLM system because we felt that was the system that truly best met our needs as a university. Installation of the system began in the fall of 1980 and proceeded through July 1982, with cutover occurring August 14th of this year. Probably one of the most important phases of the entire implementation was the training. We elected to divide training into two types. The first was counselor training, where we trained departmental representatives to act as resident experts on the operation of the telephone system, especially in regard to feature usage. Once this phase of training was concluded, then we proceeded with the end user training, which was conducted entirely by ROLM's customer service representatives. In the course of 2.5 months, ROLM CSRs trained over 7,000 university and medical center employees. One of the points that we tried to emphasize in both types of training was that through system software, the ROLM system was now going to be able to provide the same types of features that were previously only available through hardware with key equipment. Some of the most popular and useful features that we have found on the ROLM system have been station forwarding, station speed, and the conference or the add-on feature. We've also been able to provide some system enhancements to our users, both existing users and a new group of users, the hospital patients. Some of these enhancements include touch-tone dialing, and we also found that we've been able to vastly improve our long-distance service.
In the 2 months that the ROLM telephone system has been installed at the University of Virginia, we've used it primarily for voice communications. It does support our electronic mail system, and there are approximately 400 lines dedicated to computer access. The system was cost justified for this level of usage, but we have plans for substantial utilization beyond these present applications. The next major activity of my office will be the planning and development of a local area network. We imagine the day when a faculty member can access, from his personal workstation, the large mainframes in our academic computing center for number crunching applications. He can monitor his dedicated laboratory computers, or he can call up the transcripts of his advisees from the student database in our administrative computing center. By developing a network that links the 3 large-scale computing centers and any of the 500 or more mini-computers and microprocessors across the grounds, the total computing capacity of the university will be brought to the individual user. We expect the ROLM telephone system and ROLM's expanding technology to play an important role in the development and realization of such a facility.